speaking of Tua, let's talk about that horrific concussion that he got in the Packers game. And the Dolphins were controlling that game for a long period of time. But then I believe it was in the second quarter. I saw on Twitter actually that some Dolphins fan account put a video up of Tua's head hitting the turf. And they were putting it up as an explanation for the three kind of inexplicable interceptions that Tua threw after that. And at the time I was like, okay, but they put him back in the game, right? Maybe this is just like a Dolphins fan who is trying to make excuses for Tua. And now I'm not a doctor, but looking at it back as opposed to in real time, it's obvious that he was affected. And Mike McDaniel has essentially confirmed as much, saying that they went back and watched the tape, and that's when they decided, okay, let's get him in the concussion protocol. Because it was that the decisions did not make sense to that degree. And I don't understand how he was holding a conversation and people didn't know. Like, the Dolphins scored 0 points after Tua's head got hit. He then threw 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter, as I discussed. And from a winning perspective, right, again, looking at it completely cold-heartedly, I don't think Mike McDaniel is as guilty as some might think in this situation, because he's worried about like play calling, and if he thought Tua was impaired, I'd imagine that he would want Teddy Bridgewater in the game. This is a huge problem for the Dolphins organization and the NFL in general. And people are going to try to put this on the player like, oh, his competitiveness is so out of this world. He fooled us. He fooled the spotters. He fooled the Dolphins medical staff. No, the onus is on the business to protect their employees, especially if you're the cheap ass Dolphins. Get some actual doctors in there. This has been a national storyline for the entire year. I mean, it's on you guys to protect this guy. And his incentives are, yes, to go out there and play. Like, he wants to prove that he's the franchise quarterback. He wants to cement himself as the franchise. And his position is inherently precarious because there are a lot of questions about his play and if he's able to get it done at this level. And it's also precarious for most quarterbacks in the NFL. They feel like they could get replaced at any moment because they can, because the stakes are that high for that position. So, of course he's going to try to play. That's not the point. The point is that the spotters did not do their jobs. And the point is that the Dolphins medical staff did not do their jobs for like the third time this year. So, yes, clearly the player has a tendency more than others to have this kind of injury. That means that the Dolphins medical staff should be more sensitive to it. It is really concerning to see how unable Tua is to protect himself. If I were his family member, I don't know if I would want him playing football ever again. I don't understand how this falls through the cracks. From the Dolphins' perspective, on protecting a guy who came into your organization, and from the NFL, who has these spotters who seem to have missed a lot of things this year. When it comes to Tua, there was also the concussion to Devontae Parker and on the Patriots that another Patriots player had to alert them to. Like, this is supposed to be your guys' job. And it seems like they've just gotten loosey-goosey with it ever since Congress and the Concussion Tell the Truth movie with Will Smith. Like, they feel like the white hot spotlight is off of them to a degree. But it shone right back on them in that Bengals-Dolphins game. And they still have not improved their process because this happened again to Tua. And you watch back that video that was posted on social media, and you can see, yes, his head did hit the turf. So I have no idea what the hell the Dolphins are thinking, and they need to get it together to protect their player, because I'm concerned for Tua as a human being and his long term and the long term ramifications of this.